My name's Katy Woodroffe. I'm an Australian artist, and I was born in Tasmania, which is the little island off the southeast of the mainland of Australia, in 2006. We initiated an art residency program, an international program, which got a lot of attention. We had a tremendous number of applicants for that, but the standout was Marielle van Bergh. She arrived with her partner Mels Dees, another innovative artist, and the experience was, just so special for all of us, I think. They returned to the Netherlands and organised an exhibition, the Tasmania project. It was 4 artists, the 2 Dutch artists and another Tasmanian artist, Rob Eichen and I. The family returned to Australia. While they were here, we talked about having an exhibition, but we didn't know what or when that would be. When Marielle returned to the Netherlands, she had a very special exhibition, Primal Nature. My husband and I were doing a residency in France at the time, and I was very honoured to be asked to open that. And while we were there, we actually visited the Delft factory, and so much inspiration for the work that I do using ceramic forms and pattern. I was really surprised that the Delft factory was being established in the 1620s, as much the same time as Abel Tasman was getting ready to do a voyage to look for the Southland. So the work in the show, a lot of it has come from ideas from that voyage, with Abel Tasman on, I think it was November the 24th, actually encountering the west coast of Tasmania, unable to land, but there's a piece in the exhibition called "In the Morning It Was Very Still," but I think that was November the 25th. Still unable to land, they went around the south coast of Tasmania, came up the east coast, and eventually found somewhere that they could anchor in 22 fathoms, which is the name of the small pieces in the exhibition. And then eventually rowed to land and didn't find any inhabitants there, but saw evidence of smoke and marks in the tree trunks. And they saw a footprint, which we now think is probably a thylacine footprint. The following day they went back in again, and I think it was the carpenter swam through the surf and took a pole which had the Dutch East India insignia on it, and a flag, the Princess flag of the Netherlands, and actually proclaimed the land as Dutch. So that was, a shock to know that we really could have been Dutch. They then kept sailing up the east coast, but when they hit the rough waters of Bass Strait, they turned east and eventually ended up in New Zealand. But he didn't realise that he hadn't found the Southland. He thought that, he didn't know it was an island, but it was Tasmania. For me, thinking about Tasmania, we have just wonderful wilderness, we have ancient rainforests, but we also have a very dark history. The atrocious treatment of the Tasmanian Aborigines by the colonisers is something I think we all feel still today and are still coming to terms with that. But there's also the fact that we were a penal colony, quite a cruel penal colony, that we did have caused the extinction of the Tasmanian tiger. These are all sorts of parts of the story about Tasmania, which is another side of who we are. And so the references have been made in quite a few pieces of work. So with the tiger, there's the Occupation and Loss Journal, but there's also the big piece which has the ghost of the thylacine around the edge of the shattered pottery. There's one which has the skin, features the actual skin of the thylacine in the centre. So all the works in the exhibition are on paper, which I've gessoed and layered. I've then hand painted through stencils with acrylic paint, and then Once that's dry, I've actually worked over the top with pigment mixed with linseed oil, so I make up my own oil-based paint and keep layering until I get the intensity and depth that I want. And I work over the acrylic forms to get the dimension, give it the sense of dimension in the work. And I also create an illusion of 3D a little bit by the way that I use that pigment, but then I have to rub it back with linseed oil to sort of get the highlights back. So it's quite a long process. Each large piece probably takes about 5 weeks to do. I'm just delighted to be in this exhibition, and I'm delighted to be the Van Diemenslander in the show with these two wonderful artists. I'm just really disappointed that COVID prevented me from coming over to be with everybody, but I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Marielle and Mels for including me in this exhibition.